Good morning. Let me just get that on there. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry for the slight delay. Um, it's like one of those weeks when you're trying to just get everything in before the end of the secular year when offices close down. But here we are. And I saw the message I'd like to share with everyone today is something that hit me the other day when on social media, on my Facebook feed, I kept seeing the following article. Everybody was sharing, a lot of my Lubavitch colleagues. And let me bring that up and read it to you. Very interesting story that happened apparently recently. So I'm going to see where it's probably better there. So this is a snippet, an article that was in one of the papers. And it says, "Dear Diary, I live in a huge condo in Brighton Beach. On the first night of Hanukkah, there was a knock on my front door, which I didn't open. When I inquired who it was, a small voice asked, 'Are you Jewish?' Indignant, I replied, 'That's none of your business.' When the voice claimed to be with the Chabad, it's small on my screen. I retorted, 'I don't care who you are. That's an inappropriate question,' and I promptly called the security. Moments later, I heard a guard very politely explain to the man from Chabad that he was transgressing and couldn't go around the building. He couldn't go around the building on knocking on doors and asking about religious affiliations. He would have to leave the premises at once. Without missing a beat, I heard the small voice ask the very patient security guard, 'Are you Jewish?' And I love this story because this is a story that really expresses a very important message in our life, which I'll explain soon. But the reason why this story caught my attention, because it reminds me of a similar story that happened over 70 years ago in London, England. And this is one of my favorite stories with Mai Zaidi. He was a chassid. Let me see if I can get him up here. There he goes. There's a picture of Mai Zaidi, Rabbi Ben Zion Shem Tov. And Rabbi Ben Zion Shem Tov was one of the founding Hasidic leaders in the England Lubavitch community. He was sent there by let me pick him up. He was sent there by the Rebbe to begin the Lubavitch community in England. And one of his first programs, one of the first projects that he undertook was to start a Jewish day school. And it wasn't easy back then. This was in the mid-40s, early 50s. And just imagine England and London, the British culture back then in the 50s. And here you have a Hasidic Jew, a bearded Hasidic Jew, just came from Russia, from Europe. Well, he was in Europe, but came from Russia through Europe. And here he wants to open a Hasidic day school. And what did he do? He went knocking on doors, just like this fellow Chassid, Shliach Chassid, did just a few weeks ago or last week. And he knocks on the door, and he started going from door to door and seeing if there are Jewish kids that would enroll in his day school. And one particular incident I heard about, which really, really inspires me for many, many years since I've heard it. So he's knocking on a door. Now, this picture that I'm showing you of Mai Zaidi is a formal picture. But he was a very energetic guy, had a lot of life to him. Unfortunately, I never met him. I think as a child, I saw him once or twice. He was killed in an accident in Israel in 1976, I believe. So, and he would come visit the States and meet my father many times, but very rarely would he come to Philadelphia. In any event, so he's knocking on the door, and a woman opens up. She has her drink in her hand. And as soon as she sees this Hasidic Russian Jew at her door, she says, "I don't care what you have to sell me." And she just throws the water in his face and slams the door. She was so angry, a little bit like this woman. At least this woman didn't open the door. But here she takes the water and just throws it in his face and slams the door. You have to understand what kind of statement that is in a proper British environment. So what would you do? I'll tell you what he did. He didn't miss a beat, and he knocks on the door again, And the lady opens up and says, "What now?" And he says, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you have a towel for me to wipe myself and dry myself up?" And that's the story. Just like this chassid just a week ago. The guard told him, "You can't ask people about their affiliation in this building." That's okay. Well, maybe, are you Jewish? Maybe you need the menorah. And this is something that is a span of 70 years. But although time has spanned all these years, a reality hasn't changed. And the reality that hasn't changed is that when you're focused on doing something that is truly meaningful to you, people can tell you to leave, and you will leave politely, or people can throw water in your face. But there's a purpose. You don't get set back by challenges that are thrown at you, literally or figuratively. But you think, how do I proceed? What should my next step be? Because what I'm about to do, what I'm trying to do, is not about myself. It's about a greater purpose, a greater vision, a greater mission. And when you're able to be committed and see what it is that you're trying to accomplish from a greater, deeper perspective, these kind of incidents only lead you to what is my next step so I could succeed. Because in certain things, failure is not an option. Now, not everybody I know wouldn't be as quick on my feet as my Zaidi was, and not even as this chassid was, even a week ago. But after a while, if it takes you a day or two or three, don't let yourself get down by setbacks. Because always remember this: the difference between failure and success is one more try. See, the reason why certain people are successful is because they keep trying. If you believe in something, don't let go. Don't let up. Things can set you back, but that's only a step back so you can take 2 steps forward. We read these stories and we have our role models. Each and every one of you have your own role models. But the bottom line is, the role models aren't you. And all these beautiful stories are beautiful stories if they don't inspire you and I to take the next step. Imagine where you were December 23rd, 2019, as you were winding down the secular year last year and thinking about what the coming year will be. I am sure none of us imagined that a year from then we will be where we are at this moment. I certainly would not have been here online sharing thoughts and inspiration with you. But this is where we are. And we can't let ourselves say, "Oy, gewalt, oh, how bad the year was." The year was great. We may not know its greatness yet, but just stay focused. Maybe we took a few steps back in certain areas of our life, but on the things that are meaningful to you, the things that are important to you, don't give up. Always remember, the difference between success and failure is one more try. Knock on the door again. Ask the person who's asking you to leave to maybe he wants to do a mitzvah. But always look in the setback as an opportunity to move forward. I hope you enjoy the inspiration of this story. We will see you again Friday, please God, Friday at 2 o'clock for a pre-Shabbos sermonette. But as kind of things slow down in life, and things are slowing down over the next few days and next week, think about what this year brought you. Not what it took away from you, but what did it bring? Because once you identify that idea, that is the kernel. That will be the springboard for even greater growth for you in the months and years to come. Have a wonderful day.